Hey everyone, think you're ready to nail that office equipment repair technician interview?
Well, get ready because today we're going deep with RoleCatcher's career and interview guides.
We'll give you the inside scoop on what those hiring managers are really looking for.
It's like having a cheat sheet for your interview.
Exactly. It's not just general tips. We're going to break down those specific questions they love to ask
We're going to uncover what they're really trying to figure out about you.
and show you how to use RoleCatcher's AI to create the perfect answers.
Think of us as your secret weapon for interview prep.
Okay, first things first. Let's make sure we all know what this job actually involves, right?
So we're talking about installing, maintaining, and repairing a whole bunch of office equipment.
Printers, scanners, copiers, the whole shebang.
Exactly. And it's not just about tinkering away in some back room.
You're the go-to expert. You're heading out to client sites, interacting with people, and keeping businesses running smoothly.
You need a good blend of technical skills and people skills.
You've got to be comfortable explaining those complex technical issues to people who might not be so tech-savvy.
And you need to be able to think on your feet and troubleshoot problems in real time,
The RoleCatcher Guide says this field is really taking off right now.
which is great news for anyone looking to get into it.
But they also point out some things you might want to consider before diving in headfirst.
Yeah, there's a lot of travel involved, and it can be pretty physically demanding. You're often on your feet, lifting heavy equipment, and working in some pretty tight spaces sometimes.
Plus, with technology changing so quickly, you have to constantly be learning.
Staying up to date is absolutely key to succeeding in this field.
But for those who are up for the challenge,
It can be an incredibly rewarding career.
you get to solve problems, work with your hands, and really make a difference for businesses.
All right, let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
Time to dive into those interview questions.
RoleCatcher has a whole bunch of common ones, and we're going to focus on a few that really show what it takes to be an office equipment repair technician.
Okay, let's start with a classic. Can you tell us about your previous experience in repairing office equipment?
Seems straightforward, but there's a lot more to it than meets the eye.
So what are they really looking for with this question?
They want to see your practical experience. How comfortable are you with different types of equipment?
They want to know if you've got what it takes, technically, to handle the job.
Don't just list off the equipment you've worked on. You need to show that you can actually solve problems.
Instead of saying, I've fixed printers before, tell them about a time you had a really tricky printer issue. How did you figure out what was wrong? What did you do to fix it?
Be specific, be detailed, highlight your technical expertise.
So instead of, I'm familiar with laser printers, you could say something like, in my last job, I managed 50 laser printers. I actually created a preventative maintenance schedule that really cut down on downtime and made print quality way better.
Perfect. That shows you're not just fixing things when they break. You're being proactive and keeping things running smoothly.
This is a great time to show off those soft skills too, like communication and problem solving.
You want to show you can explain technical stuff in a way that anyone can understand.
Because the interviewer is also looking for someone who can work well with clients, colleagues, and vendors.
They need someone who can communicate effectively.
Okay, on to the next one. How do you diagnose and troubleshoot office equipment issues? This seems to be diving deeper into your technical approach.
It definitely is. They want to understand how you think, how you analyze things, and how you go about identifying and solving problems step by step.
Okay, so walk us through how to answer this one.
Think about it. How do you approach troubleshooting? Do you start by getting info from the user? Do you have a mental checklist?
Do you use any special tools or software?
Show them your process. Highlight how logical and methodical you are.
This is where certifications like CompTIA A+ Noki can really help.
Totally. They prove you have a good grasp of computer hardware and software.
Don't forget to mention any certifications or training you have.
It makes your skills more believable and shows you're committed to improving yourself professionally.
So, what should you not do when answering this question?
Don't be vague. Don't be like, oh, I just mess around until I figure it out.
No one's impressed by that.
You have to show a clear, structured way of troubleshooting.
And try to avoid using too much technical jargon that the interviewer might not understand.
Keep it simple. Imagine you're explaining this to someone who doesn't know much about tech.
Okay, question number 3. How do you stay up to date with new office equipment technologies and developments? This is a big one, since tech changes so fast.
It does. And they want to see that you're a lifelong learner.
That you're passionate about keeping up with the latest and greatest.
So when answering this, be specific. What are your favorite sources of information? Industry publications, online forums, maybe even YouTube channels.
Don't forget any training courses, workshops, or conferences you've been to.
You want to show that you're actively trying to learn and grow your skills.
What should people avoid saying here?
Don't just say you read a lot.
Be specific about what you read and how it helps you stay current.
Show them you're enthusiastic about the newest technology.
Enthusiasm is a good thing. It'll help you stand out.
And this is another area where RoleCatcher's AI can really help you. Their platform analyzes job descriptions, it finds skills or knowledge you might be missing, then it recommends resources to fill those gaps.
That's pretty awesome. It's like having a personalized roadmap for your career.
It really is.
Okay, let's tackle one more question before we move on to part 2. This one's a little different. Can you tell us about a particularly challenging repair project you completed in the past?
This is where you can really show what you're made of.
They want to hear about your problem-solving skills, your determination. Can you think outside the box?
It's not just about describing a difficult repair, it's about how you approached the challenge and overcame those obstacles.
So start by setting the scene.
What kind of equipment were you dealing with?
What were the symptoms?
What made this particular repair so tough?
Then, take them through your troubleshooting process step by step.
Show off your analytical skills. Explain how you gathered information, tested things out, and ruled out different possibilities.
It's okay to get a little technical here.
Show them what you know.
This is where you let your passion for the technical stuff shine through.
Exactly. And if you came up with a creative or innovative solution, talk about that, especially if it was something beyond the usual fix.
It shows you're not afraid to think differently and that you're good at finding solutions when things get tough.
Don't forget to explain how you kept the client in the loop. Did you explain things so they could understand?
Did you offer any other solutions while you were working on the repair?
This shows you're good at customer service and that you care about their needs, not just the technical side of things.
Now, what are some things to avoid when answering this one?
Don't just give a general or made-up example. Use a real story that shows what you can do.
Give them something specific, something memorable.
And don't ramble on forever with all the technical details.
Keep it short, interesting, and focused on the main points.
You want them to see how good you are at solving problems without getting lost in the technical jargon.
This has been a great start to our deep dive on office equipment repair technician interviews.
We've covered some really important questions and strategies.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI platform can be a huge help in preparing for your interview. It gives you personalized feedback.
It makes recommendations tailored to you. It's like leveling up your preparation.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll continue exploring interview questions and dive even deeper into the career insights RoleCatcher has to offer.
All right, welcome back to our deep dive into the world of office equipment repair technician.
We're excited to keep going with these great tips from RoleCatcher. Let's help you land that dream job.
And for those just joining us, we did cover a lot in part 1, so you might want to go back and listen to that first. But for now, let's jump right into our next question from the RoleCatcher interview guide.
Hit me with it. What's we got?
Okay, get ready. How do you prioritize and manage your workload when you have multiple service calls, deadlines coming up fast, and urgent repairs popping up all over the place?
Whoa, I'm feeling stressed just hearing that.
It's a lot to handle, right?
I see why they asked this question. It's not just about fixing things. It's about being organized and staying calm when things get hectic.
They want to know that you can handle the pressure, that you can prioritize and keep everything running smoothly, even when you're juggling a ton of stuff.
So, how do you show them you can do all that in an interview?
Well, start by talking about how you stay organized. Do you use a to-do list, a calendar?
Maybe a fancy app that helps you track everything?
Whatever your method is, tell them how you use it to decide which tasks are the most urgent and important.
You're not just randomly jumping from one thing to the next.
Exactly, you've got a system.
You're efficient.
You could even give a specific example, like, every morning I check my schedule and see which tasks need to be done right away. Then I schedule my service calls, making sure to factor in travel time and any potential delays. I also use an app to keep track of appointments, log repairs, and manage inventory.
That's a perfect example.
It shows you're organized and you think ahead.
And I bet they also want someone who can communicate well with clients, especially when things aren't going as planned.
Absolutely. You need to be able to keep clients updated on the progress of repairs, any delays, and any unexpected issues that come up.
Transparency is key.
You're managing expectations and building those important relationships.
So you should probably mention that you'll proactively reach out to clients if a repair is taking longer than expected or if you need to reschedule.
Definitely. And a little empathy goes a long way. Acknowledge their frustration.
Reassure them you're doing everything you can to fix it.
And, if possible, offer other solutions in the meantime.
Okay, so we've talked about what to do. What about what not to do? What are some traps to avoid when answering this question?
Can be vague. Don't say something like, I just try to get everything done as fast as I can.
It's not very convincing.
You need to show them you have a structured approach, a system for prioritizing things.
You're a planner, not a reactor.
Right. And don't forget to mention how you handle those unexpected situations.
Like what happens when a high priority issue pops up while you're in the middle of something else?
How do you adapt?
How do you adjust your schedule?
You want to show that you're adaptable and resourceful.
Okay, speaking of thinking on your feet, let's move on to our next question. This one's a good one. Can you tell us about a particularly challenging repair project you completed in the past?
This is your time to shine.
They want to see your technical expertise, your problem-solving abilities.
And your persistence.
So, what makes a good answer for this question?
First, set the stage. What was the problem?
What kind of equipment was involved?
What were the challenges you faced right from the start?
Make them feel like they're right there with you, going through it all.
Then walk them through your process, step by step. How did you analyze the problem?
How methodical were you? Explain how you gathered information, tested components, and eliminated possible causes. Don't be afraid to get a little technical here.
Right.
Show off your knowledge.
It's your chance to really show your passion for the technical side of things.
And if you came up with a really creative or innovative solution, that's gold. Especially if it was something outside the normal fix.
Exactly. It shows that you can think differently and find solutions when things get tricky.
It shows you're not just following a manual, you're actually using your brain.
Right. And here's a tip. Mention how you communicated with the client during the process. Did you keep them updated? Did you explain the technical stuff in a way they could understand?
Did you offer any alternative solutions while you were working on the repair?
Those things show that you care about the client's needs, not just about fixing the machine.
You're giving them excellent customer service.
Okay, now let's talk about what not to do.
What are some mistakes to avoid?
Don't use made-up examples or situations that weren't really that challenging.
You need to use a real story that shows off your skills.
Give them a story they'll remember.
And don't ramble on and on with too many technical details.
Keep it short, engaging, and focus on the main points.
You want to paint a clear picture without overwhelming them with jargon.
Exactly. Think of it like you're telling a short story, an adventure where you're the hero, using your technical skills to solve a problem.
Okay, before we move on, let's talk about RoleCatcher's AI platform again. It's really like having a personal career coach right in your pocket.
It is. One of the coolest things about it is the AI feedback system. It helps you improve your interview answers.
It analyzes what you say and tells you how to make it better.
It can even tailor your answers to specific jobs. It looks at job descriptions, finds the key skills they're looking for, and suggests ways to highlight your experience in those areas.
So you don't have to guess what the interviewer wants to hear.
Exactly.
And get this, RoleCatcher also has a video practice tool with AI feedback. It lets you practice a real interview scenario, record your answers, and then get instant feedback on how you did.
It's like having a mock interview right from your own home.
And the feedback is really detailed and helpful.
It can point out any nervous habits you have, help you improve your body language, and polish your delivery.
It's like having a personal coach, fine-tuning your performance.
And the best part is, you can practice as much as you need until you feel confident and are ready to nail that interview.
This has been another great installment in our office equipment repair technician interview deep dive.
We've covered some really important questions.
And don't forget, RoleCatcher's AI platform can give you a real advantage. It helps you refine your answers, tailor your approach, and practice your skills.
So you can be ready to knock it out of the park.
Stay tuned for the final part of our deep dives, where we'll tackle more interview questions, explore more career insights, and give you everything you need to launch your career as an office equipment repair technician.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We're in the home stretch now.
Getting you ready to crush that office equipment repair technician interview.
If you've been with us from the beginning, you're already packed with tips and strategies to wow those hiring managers.
We've looked at the role inside and out, explore the good and the bad.
And even seen how RoleCatcher's AI can give you a serious advantage.
But hold on, we've got even more interview gold to dig up.
Let's jump into another question from the RoleCatcher interview guide. How do you communicate with clients or colleagues about repair projects and timelines?
The art of communication. It's all about bridging the gap between tech stuff and keeping everyone happy.
Couldn't have said it better myself. This question is about making sure you can explain complex things in a way that everyone gets it,
Managing expectations, building trust.
keeping those printers running smoothly.
Because no one wants to be left in the dark when their equipment's down.
They need clear updates, realistic timelines.
So how can someone really nail this question? Show off their communication skills.
Focus on being clear, transparent, and a little bit empathetic. Tell them how you like to communicate.
Email, phone calls, in-person updates.
Or maybe a mix of everything.
And remember to adjust your style depending on who you're talking to.
Absolutely. A techie might want all the nitty-gritty details about why a circuit board's acting up, but a regular client probably just wants to know when their copier will be back in action.
You've got to find that sweet spot between being informative and making sure they understand.
Right on. You could say something like, I always start by explaining the problem in plain English, no technical jargon. Then I give regular updates on how the repair is going, including timelines and any issues that come up. If there's a delay, I'll let them know right away why it's happening and look for other solutions to keep things running.
Perfect. That really shows you know how to communicate. And what about using tools to streamline the process?
Definitely. Mentioning things like ticketing systems, project management software.
Even a well-organized spreadsheet can show that you're organized and efficient.
It's all about having a system.
All right, now let's talk about what not to do when answering this question. What are some traps to avoid?
Don't act like communication isn't important. Don't say things like, I just fixed the problem and move on.
It makes it sound like you don't get the bigger picture.
It's not just about the fix, it's about building relationships and providing great service.
And stay away from overly technical language. You're trying to show you can communicate with anyone, not just tech experts.
Exactly. Keep it simple.
Okay, before we wrap up this interview prep session, let's go back to RoleCatcher's career guide for a minute.
It's packed with advice for anyone starting out or wanting to advance in this field.
It really is a must-read. One thing it emphasizes is getting real-world experience, internships, apprenticeships.
Even volunteering.
So even if you don't have tons of experience, you can still stand out by showing initiative and eagerness to learn.
Totally agree. And once you're in the field, the guide talks about ways to move up. You could specialize in certain types of equipment.
Maybe move into a management role.
Or even start your own repair business.
It also talks about the importance of always learning new things, especially in a field that changes so fast.
Stay ahead of the game by taking courses, getting certifications, and going to industry events to network.
Speaking of networking, the guide really highlights how valuable that is.
It's all about building connections, staying informed about what's new in the industry.
And finding new opportunities.
And don't forget about RoleCatcher's AI here. Their platform can pinpoint any skills or knowledge gaps you might have.
And then it recommends specific resources to help you fill those gaps.
It's like having a custom-made guide for your career journey.
I think we've given you just about everything you need to ace that interview.
We've tackled those tough questions, shared some insider tips.
And explored all the exciting paths you can take in this field.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI platform is there to give you that extra boost.
It can help you refine your answers, practice your skills, and really nail that interview.
So go out there and get that job.
That's a wrap on this deep dive, everyone. We hope you're feeling confident and prepared to launch your career as an office equipment repair technician.
Best of luck.